I have seen some pretty bad movies. Some are like bad just on a regular level, and others are the worst ever made. But this movie is on a whole other level. It's not as bad as 6 other movies, but it's worse than every other movie. I mean, why make this movie? Why make this movie at all? I mean, ask me this. Why make Ice Age 6? No reason. No reason at all. No reason to make this movie. No reason for it to exist at all. But you know what Disney did? They made it. Yeah, they created this movie. They created this thing. This abominable piece of awfulness. So, why is this movie bad? Well, let's find out. Okay, first off, the concept of Ice Age 6 or the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild is really good. A Buck Wild movie? Good God, that sounds really interesting. I might be hyped for this. But no, they execute it in the possibly worst way possible. Instead of the movie being about Buck for most of it, the main plot of the movie is that it's about Crash and Eddie and how they want to become independent from the herd. Something that was never explored in the previous movies in the first place. So really, this makes no sense whatsoever. Why do they want to become independent now? Like, this is Crash and Eddie we're talking about. They don't understand anything. Why go try to be independent now when you could have done that in like a previous movie? Hell, make it the plot of the 4th movie. Just make it the plot of any movie. But no, you make it the plot of the Buck Wild movie. Yeah, top notch there, guys. Top freaking notch. Yeah, another bad thing about this movie is the writing. And the humor. Good God, this movie is not funny. It is seriously not funny. Like, with the other Ice Age movies, I laughed. I laughed a lot. Unless you count 2 or 4, then not that much. But these movies are damn funny. They are hilarious. But Ice Age 6? You know what the first joke in this movie is? They dab. Yep. The first joke in the 6th Ice Age movie that wasn't even made by Blue Sky is the dab joke. Do you guys need to go back to Film 101? I mean, this is Ice Age. Ice Age! This is the most timeless franchise of all time. Yeah, there's a few pop culture references in here and there, but they're not in your face instead of something like Chicken Little where they're like all over the place. They're just little, like, history jokes, and that's it. But with this movie, they dab. They dab and have a rap song in the background. It's so, like, cringy. This movie is cringe. Yeah, this is the most cringiest, most annoying film I've ever seen in a long time. Like, seriously, why dab? Why dabbing? Why anything? Why anything? Another thing awful about the movie is the animation. It looks unfinished. So one thing that I said is that the animation for Surf's Up 2 looks like it was animated on a computer that was powered by a potato. Well, the animation for this movie looks like it was animated by a computer on a potato, powered by a potato, that was squished, put into a blender, shake in the blender, take the mashed potato ice, put gum in it, and then spit in it, and then take a dump on it, then put the plug back in the computer, and the animation would still look worse than Toy Story, the first animated film ever made that came out, the first animated CGI film ever made that came out on November 22nd, 1995. I don't know if that's right, but I don't care. This is Ice Age 6 we're talking about. The most unrealistic, the most stupidest movie ever made. Like, seriously, what is up with the animation? At least the animation for the original Ice Age actually looked finished, and it was actually more primitive technology. The animation for Ice Age 6 actually looks unfinished. It's Norm of the North levels of bad. It's Open Season 3 levels of bad. It's Food Fight Actually, no, not Food Fight levels of bad. But you get the point. The animation for this movie is terrible. It looks unfinished. It looks worse than Toy Story. And this has, like, how many years of a gap? I can't think of it. Oh yeah. Over 20 years of a gap, which, to be perfectly exact, is 27 years. Yup. These movies are 27 years apart, and the animation for Ice Age 6, which came out in 2022, looks even worse than Toy Story, which came out in 1995, used much more primitive technology, and yet the animation in that film still turned out better than this 2022 motion picture. Another thing bad about this movie is the characters. They're all stupid and idiotic. Crash and Eddie are the head and center, and Wise and Buck, because Buck isn't even in this movie until the 19th minute mark. This movie that's called Buck Wild, and Buck Wild, the title character of your movie, it doesn't even appear until the 19th minute mark. He's mentioned, but he's never seen until 19 minutes into the movie, because the other 19 minutes is just Crash and Eddie screwing around in the above world and in the dinosaur world. Is it called the above world? Who cares? Who cares? Who gives a crap? I don't. This movie's terrible. Have I mentioned how much I fucking hate this movie? Yeah, another thing about this, Buck isn't even that funny in this. Like, he was very funny in the third movie, and sort of funny in the fifth, and he appeared for like 10 seconds in the fourth. But with this movie, he's not funny at all, and he's the only returning voice actor. Oh yeah, another thing bad about this movie, the voice acting! This movie has awful voice acting. None of the original voice actors, apart from Simon Pegg, returned to do their roles, and every other replaced actor has to try and act like the previous actors acting for the characters that were acted by the previous actors, but the actors are replaced by different actors who are acting characters that were acted by other actors. You got all that? Good. Oh yeah, also, what happened to Sid's face? Like, did anyone else notice this? His face is kind of stretched out in the movie. He also sounds like his voice just got even more. It sounds more like that. Like, I don't know which expression to choose. There's only two to choose from. Angry or confused. I don't know which one. So yeah, this movie is awful. The worst of the worst. It's the worst film of 2022 and one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life. 2 out of 10, this movie can go to hell. But yeah, why make this film? Why make this film at all? There's no reason to. Disney just wants to make money and then pee on Blue Sky's grave and say, hey, we're more successful than you. Guess what? No, it doesn't make sense like that. It never made sense. Why did Disney shut down Blue Sky in the first place? Yeah, it's probably due to COVID, but they also had this film on the way called Nimona, and had these LGBTQ themes in it. It was going to be like their Spider-Verse. But you know what Disney did? They shut them down and canceled the movie. Why? Because Disney is anti-LGBTQ. How do I know this? Because they've been doing that since the 80s. Yes, you heard me correct. 1980s. But I mean, like, there was, like, this had potential. You could have made this a TV show. You could have made this anything. But no, Disney, no. You made a movie out of it. You made a movie out of this concept that actually works. Then you executed it in the worst possible way. You made this on levels of badness as The Treasure Planet, not the Disney film, the Bulgarian 1982 movie that I already talked about, and then sprinkled a little bit of open season movies in it. This movie is worse than Open Season 2, but a little better than the Bulgarian Treasure Planet. But I mean, come on! You could have done anything with this concept. You could have turned it into a TV show. You could have turned it into a short film. But no, you turned this into an 80-minute movie that did not deserve to be in an 80-minute movie, and it isn't even not connected that well. This movie is so disjointed, so unlike. This is really getting my gears going. This is really annoying me to the next level. This is why the Disney company is failing. This is why Hollywood is failing. This is why the world is failing. I mean, like, this. It's driving me insane, this movie. Like, seriously, what happened? What happened in production? You were making a TV show, and then Disney all of a sudden decided, hey, why don't I make a movie out of this? Yeah, not only is there a 6th Ice Age movie out, no. They're just getting started. Apparently, they also announced they're making a 7th one. And they're also making a 3rd Rio movie. Just to add salt to an open wound that's getting gradually opened up, and then more salt is being sprinkled into it by, who guessed this, Disney. They are so disrespectful, and they're driving me insane. This is why the Walt Disney Company is failing. I will soon make a freaking documentary about why this company should shut down. No, my friend should make it. No, everyone should just make a full-on 1-hour documentary about why this company is failing, and Bob Chapek is ruining it. Bob Iger saved it, but then Bob Chapek came in and was like, hey, we can screw this company around, and they did, and he did, and guess what? He's turned the Walt Disney Company back into a soulless conglomerate that doesn't care about you or anybody. They just want your money, your sweet meat green moolah. This movie is hell. My life is hell. Everything about this movie is awful. The concept is the only good thing in this entire movie, and I chuckled a few times. But apart from that, this movie is the worst of the worst. This is what every human being has to go through. They have to watch awful movies for no reason. Like, why do we go through this? Why does anyone have to review this movie? No one should watch it. If you like it, that's fine. You can like it if you want. But let me warn you, if you have not seen film, do not watch it. It is the worst film of 2022 and one of the worst films of all time. This movie is driving me insane. It's making me go insane. My life is turning into hell because of this movie. My life is hell. This is the worst thing a human being could ever go through.